Yo, what up, Cinephiles and Entertainment Seekers, and also what up, Coop Troop? This is your man, your host, your maestro of this great channel of ours, DeAndre Cooper, coming at you with what? DraeRadio, cinema news and movie reviews. Welcome to the show, you guys. Thank you for choosing me. For as you saw on the thumbnail of the title of this video, I will be bringing to y'all my review for 2025's Wolfman. This was the first movie to get me back into the theater for this year. This was one of my most anticipated film projects, not most anticipated films of the year, but this was one of my most prioritized film projects that I wanted to bring to the YouTube community because I am a fan of werewolf movies, you guys. Like, deeply love werewolf films. And without further ado, again, thank you once again for choosing this video to get your fix in and letting me get my piece of the pie of this type of content. And you feel me? Like, comment, subscribe if you interact and relate with anything that you hear me talk about within this video. And welcome to the Coop Troop family. So let's build. I'm not gonna waste y'all time. Let's get straight to the business, y'all. Let's get active. So first off, let me give y'all the synopsis about what this film was about, basically. So going to Google, because I really went from Rotten Tomatoes and then wolfman.com, and the synopsis for on those two platforms were dreadfully long. But Google gives us the basics, to which I'm going to share with y'all right now. So Wolfman 2025. Blake and his family are attacked by an unseen animal and in a desperate escape barricade themselves inside a farmhouse as the creature prowls the perimeter. As the night stretches on, however, Blake begins to behave strangely, transforming into something unrecognizable that soon jeopardizes his wife and daughter. Blake, the lead character of the film, is played by Christopher Abbott, while his wife is played by Julia Garner, the MCU's new lady Silver Surfer. Her character name is Charlotte, which you'll be hearing me talk about. These three main characters throughout the whole film, and then Matilda Firth as Ginger, the daughter. So before we dive into my theater experience, my things that I liked about the film, the good things, and then the things that I disliked, which are the bad things, let's dive over to Rotten Tomatoes and let me discuss with you guys what they got going on over here. So first off, getting on RottenTomatoes.com, Wolfman is currently holding a 54% tomato meter from the critics. Rotten, you guys, rotten. So oh man, all films are subjective. I know most of the time people don't normally go for what the critics are saying, but I gravitate more so towards the critics all the time. But the popcorn meter, which represents the audience, 58%. And this is Leigh Whannell's film, directed and screenwritten by the creator of Saw. Apparently, he had a whole lot of praise from his The Invincible Man film, which had numbers, great numbers from the critics and the audience, which I haven't seen yet. And it kind of seemed like a revival of the Dark Universe, which Universal tried to dive into. But for this to be the second film of that possibility, it don't look too good on here, you guys. So what I like to do while I'm on Rotten Tomatoes, I like to share with you guys the top critic reviews for this film. And then, like I said, once we get done with this segment, we'll dive over to your boy, who you came here for, opinions and thoughts, and thereon and so forth. So first off, we have Alonzo Durald from the film Verdict with a fresh review. First off, starting off good, you feel me? Even if it starts better than it ends, Wolfman merits a look, not only for the craft on display, but also for the powerful performances from Abbott and Garner. Not to mention Yeager and Firth. A cast this strong deserves a script with more to tear into. I like that pun. That was a great pun. But he's not telling no lies. I feel like every actor, the actress on this film, which was definitely a tight cast. I'm talking about when I say tight cast, it's nobody into a variety of people to where you could branch off into from like office co-workers, bar people, like drinking at the bar type of scene. American Werewolf in London, you hear me? But this movie was such a tight, isolated cast that you really got the opportunity to bond with everybody, or so you think. But that's coming from Alonzo Durral from the film Verdict. Next, we have A.A. Dowd from Digital Trends with a rotten review. He says the abandoned dark universe lives on through the sheer duskiness of Wayno's imagery. Pray your local multiplex runs its projector bulbs on the brightest possible setting. So either he watched the film in a standard screening, and where he mentioned the projector bulbs on the brightest possible setting. I viewed it in IMAX, so y'all know how IMAX get down. 4K visuals, great pixelization from the dark areas, and I had a good time when it came down to the visuals. But here's my point: when he mentioned the abandoned dark universe lives on through sheer duskiness of Wayno's imagery. If this was his passion to revive that from what Universal failed to, the second film ain't looking too good. But I am still intrigued and not opposed, watching The Invincible Man and checking to see what that was hitting for. But yeah, you guys. Next we have Linda Merrick from The Sun, UK. You hear me? With a fresh review also. She says, despite occasional pacing issues, director Wayno elevates Wolfman beyond simple horror with a powerful exploration of domestic abuse and generational trauma. So when you hear domestic abuse and generational trauma, I connect that with the actual beginning of the film, which whenever I start talking about bits of the movie, I'm not going to spoil major things, but I'm going to just basically walk y'all through what my POV was like of seeing the scenes that I did see, and hoping it intrigues you to go watch it for yourself, because as we know, all films are subjectical. But when it came down to the domestic abuse and generational trauma, the film starts you off seeing Blake as a child, and him and his father are living in a very isolated farm land. It didn't really specify. I think Ohio, I believe. I'm gonna just go with that for right now, but correct me below if you know the details more than I do. But they had to been in Ohio. The visuals for the landscaping they were staying in was so picturesque and so extravagant to look at. It was eye catching, really. But it was very isolated, nobody around, and the father was very militant. The father was very militant. There was a scene where you see Blake sleeping, and then all you hear is a tin hut. Get out the bed real rush and go downstairs for breakfast type of energy. And they had a dog, but don't think I Am Legend where the dog is going to be with you throughout the whole movie. No, that's just one shot scene with the dog. But then you cut off to a part in the beginning where you see Blake and his father both have guns. They about to go do some hunting. I'm like, okay, there go a basic statistic life of not going to school, just living off of survival, learning survival skills. And his father was giving a speech about, your awareness, making sure your surroundings are secure for your own safety. Blake, being a child, mind wandered off because he's looking at all the beautiful landscapings of which they were walking in the forest at this time and moment. And father turned around and noticed he wasn't paying that big much attention. So he asking them questions, but very aggressive, like, having Blake a little startled. And from then on out, things start to unfold, but not in like the wide variety of what the film is based on. Just a little teaser, because you got to get the audience prepared for what's going to come. And they did, because I BS you not. There was a scene still in the beginning where Blake is and his father see a deer hunting, got to get some food for the house. His father didn't take the shot, but he missed the target because the deer walked away. Blake thinking, which it was implied, not really just said aloud, but Blake thinking, okay, I'm gonna make my father proud. So he basically took off to go get the deer. Father looked back and like, Blake gone. Blake dipped, you feel me? But I believe he did it with great intentions. Worst case scenario, you guys, like chills went down your spine once you saw that scene transition into, because you just knew what was going to happen. And as that was going on, Blake scoping out the scene because he hear twigs snapping. And then as he's veering over to the right side, he see a figure. We see the figure clear as day. Man, hairy man, just staring at the depths of Blake's soul. Blake don't catch it, but he feel it, and it's like, when you have that look like, I just saw something, let me go back. He went back, and obviously, in all horror movies, you're not going to see it again. But this is where the first jump scare happened as well, because Blake's father come out of nowhere and very aggressively, what is your problem? What is your deal? Kids like you get snatched up every other day, and just because you walking away and not following my lead, stay by my side at all time. Like, so the father really know, like, from now you seeing all this going on from his protectiveness, which this is really what the movie was talking about the whole time. Protect your own. And at the end of the day, we now know he was doing it to protect Blake, because the father know evil was out in these lands. And so all that happened. But that's really where the domestic abuse and generational trauma came from. Blake took that for what it was, escaped that and built his own family, but he stood firm on the protect your own, just from the, portrayment of his father. So aside from the bad upbringing of his life, he took that as the good into the futuristic life that he built for himself. So that was from Linda Merrick. I know I went all off topic, but hey, that's how I get down. Linda Merrick, that was her from The Sun, UK. Now we have Sophie Butcher with Empire Magazine with a fresh review. She says it doesn't quite marry up underlying themes with its hairy horror surface, but Wolfman delivers strong performances, skin-crawling bodily change, and excellently scary sequences. So from the strong performances, it was there because as great as these actors, the actresses were, they worked with the script just as best as they could. I'm going to dive into what I thought about the movie, and I'm going to just keep on giving y'all what they're saying for what they're saying it to be, but we're going to dive more into that later. Skin crawling bodily changes. This is why I love werewolf movies. Just as much as, I guess, on a weird spectrum as you think this statement might be, I very much enjoy the viewership of the transformation from human to beast. The crawl, not the crawl, the howling, cursed, 2010's Wolfman. That had to have been the best werewolf transformation from me. Underworld, come on, y'all. I love a deep transformation like that. I'm about to dive into some anime notes for y'all. Naruto turning into the Nine Tails. You hear me? Come on. But I very much was satisfied with the transition from what we did see of the transformation from human to beast in this movie. So the crawling bodily changes, exquisite. Excellently scary sequences. I can't really go that much far to match her note when you mentioned scary. Yes, the movie had jump scares, which succeeded in its mission, but scary, I'm not really feeling that. I can't really go along with scary. But yeah, so that was Sophia Butcher from Empire Magazine. And last but not least, you guys, we have Megan Navarro from Bloody Disgusting. I don't know where that platform is at, but y'all, they deliver Bloody Disgusting reviews for the cinema entertainment industry. You hear me? She says with a rotten review. The filmmaker dismantles the lore and delivers a bold new take on the werewolf, smartly refusing to explain its rules, but is so wrapped up in its underserved characters and subtext that it forgets to be scary. So when she breaks down the lines, dismantles the lore and delivers a bold new take on the werewolf, you see something that you don't normally see in werewolf movies. You probably get a glimpse of being in first person of the werewolf, but you don't get in depth as of what Leigh Whannell put in this film, which was great. I really enjoyed those moments. Very, very lovely. And smartly refusing to explain its rules. We'll dive into that later. But it also wrapped up in underserved characters. We'll dive in that later. Subtext that forgets to be scary. There you have it. Those are the segments from Rotten Tomatoes top critic reviews, you guys. So now it's my turn. It's my turn to share with you guys the good, the bad, and if this movie has any type of rewatchability for your boy. You hear me?
My turn!
All right, Coop Troop. So let's dive into my thoughts and opinions about Wolfman 2025. So we're going to start off and talk about my theatrical experience for the movie first. This will be the first segment. I was excited, very anticipated and anxious to even walk into the theaters for the first time this year and give this movie the time of day, you guys. I mean, walking in there, seeing the murals of the AMC building, and every time I go to the movies, it always feels like the first time. Don't you enjoy actual love like that? Like just from a hobby or something that you're that much passionate about. So I'm walking into the IMAX theater with my bowl of popcorn, drink in hand. They actually gave me a poster that was only meant for the Thursday night fan event for the film. And I managed to get one, so big excited about that. First poster of 2025. And I walk into the movie auditorium. Dead theater, you guys. I'm talking about dry as popcorn with no butter. Extra salt, you feel me? Like that dry. 2 couples, 4 people, and me as like the 5th person. And yeah, the trailers are still playing, so you would think people walk in as the trailers are still playing, and as soon as the movie starts, everybody boom, settle down and getting ready to enjoy this film. Nobody entered that theater. But let's also give it the benefit of the doubt, which I feel like I can't even do that also because I chose to go at a 10:45 showtime late at night. And let's also give the fact that it was Friday. It wasn't like it was Thursday. It was Friday. So that was the time for people to show up and show out. Absolutely not. Ain't nobody show up for this film at all. At all, you guys. So theater experience was like nothing as extravagant as a blockbuster film. And yeah, we know all blockbuster movies possibly drop around in between March and July. But dead theater, and the interaction with the movie amongst the audience that was there, including myself, it was nothing. It was suspenseful and intense moments at times, definitely in the beginning, as y'all remember hearing one of the top critic reviews state that the beginning was just as better as the end could have been. After the beginning of the movie, and then for that whole rest of the remaining of the first hour, leading into the last 45 minutes of the film, not really that big of an interaction. Not that big of an interaction. Like I said, it had its moments where it was on and off, but you do forget at times to where this movie is supposed to be scary. Total letdown, lackluster, which you'll be hearing me say throughout this whole portion of me explaining to you guys what I felt about this movie. But let's spread a little light into this review of mine. Let's talk about the good. So the good things that I enjoyed about this movie again were the picturesque visuals that Leigh Whannell took us through, from the visual perspective of Ohio, the landscaping of the farmhouse, the mountains, the riverside, the forest captivation, and everything like that. Just as vibrant as the tent scenes were whenever the family found out some bad news that had them go back to Blake's upbringing, which, you know, Blake kind of put that position out there to his family to be like, y'all, let's go see where I grown up from. Y'all get to see all the beautiful sights that I've been around, as well as help me get these things that I need to get. Those were great and amazing. And then the sixth sense of you actually being first person with the werewolf, and actually seeing the pixels of their vision to where a normal human wouldn't be able to see in the darkest of areas at nighttime, especially in a remote area like that that's so isolated with like no support of like light poles and things like that. So you got to really see what the werewolf was seeing in like this blue pixelated visuals. And I really enjoyed that moment. And then there was a time to where you could actually see how crystal clear his ears were to like sounds, because there was a moment where Blake was going through his mental vegetable transition headspace. I call it vegetable because dude was very much silent once his little accident happened, but he was still aware and still like kind of learning things and trying to find out what is going on for the first time. But you hearing like little crickling sounds, like bones cracking, and little taps from a little wall fixture or something. And in our example, it would be like us trying to find a little cricket in the living room, like, okay, where is this sound coming from? He looked to the wall. It's a big old spider. I'm talking about tarantula size, you guys. And now you can see his 8 legs just working the wall. And that's exactly what he's hearing. So a big, keen sense of hearing anything, sound, even from the slightest of breathing. Seeing all those visuals portrayed in this film was amazing, from the cityscape that the city that the family were living in before all the scenes unfolded to create this movie to be what it was. Yeah. Other than that, I'm about to really disappoint y'all, but wait, let me say this before I exit the good. There is a plot twist. There is not even a plot twist, but I want to say a surprise at the end of the film. Like when I say the last 45 minutes is where I was on the edge of my seat, because I'll explain that on the bad, but I was on the edge of my seat on the last 45 minutes, you guys. We had a Wolfman to Wolfman battle. Yes, we did. Protect your own. Protect your own. So give Blake's all the round of applause for all that. But yeah, that's all the good that I have for this film. And no, not actually. Look. Let me because it's a whole lot. It's a whole lot that I always like to just bring to attention, and it's my platform to do so. So not Jennifer Gardner. What is Miss Lady name? Hold on, y'all. Give me some time. Julia Garner. I said Jennifer Gardner, Ben Affleck's ex-wife. You feel me? Electra. But Julia Gardner, Charlotte, she had a face down with Blake's in like 90% werewolf form, to where she stood her ground as a wife. Like, you're my man. I know who you are. You are not going to hurt me. And the human mind to the werewolf mindset that was really trying to take over Blake's whole being, that was really something interesting to look at as well, because you don't normally get that. You don't normally get that at all. And it felt like he had a whole lot of potential to be somewhat of a good werewolf. And I don't mean that in like actual like good, happy sunshine, go up and pet the werewolf type of deal. But it's like he had a keen sense of his family still as he was going through that ordeal of transitioning into a full big bad wolf. And boom, clearly, there we go. That's it for all of the good that I have to say about this movie. Stepping into the bad. Step into the bad side. Step into the bad side. You hear me? Everything bad about this film is the lack of explanation. The lack of explanation from the beginning of the movie, which was the best suspenseful part of the movie. But the father apparently knows there's this evil being out there. He's being so vague about it until Blake walk into this into this basement area, hear his father on like the little truck radio intercom talking to somebody around the area. And you could just hear him talk about, I seen it. It's real. The myth is real. I'm going to get him. I'm going to kill him. I got to protect my family. And he telling him about his son. Like, you got to protect your son too, Derek, right? And then Blake dropped something and father caught him eavesdropping, but it ain't like he beat him or anything like that. He just know there's some serious issues going on around this isolated area of Ohio now. But, and then the big time skip happened after that. Nothing much for us to even take aside from, yes, there's a werewolf out in amongst us, and black screen 33 years later. Alrighty then, you feel me? Alrighty then. And then it's kind of like how good these sequences kind of like play a part to give more explanation into my bad side of the film, because we see Ginger, Blake and Charlotte's daughter, just we don't see Charlotte yet, but we see Blake and Ginger walking the streets of wherever they're staying. And Ginger is hard-headed just as much as her father was as he was growing up. She walking on dangerous areas of the street, almost close to the street, and then boom, she hit a homeless man that hit her with some verbal words that shouldn't be said to a child. So he getting on her like, you don't listen, you don't do this, you don't do that. And he kind of came across his ways because he remembered how his father used to talk to him like that. So he apologized and was like he just want to protect her at all times. That was his sole mission of this whole movie, was to protect his own, even from his wife. And then later on in like the apartment area is when we finally meet Julia Garner's character, Charlotte, walking in there handling business. Like, she just got off work, she just clocked out, but she walk in handling business because she a journalist. And he was also a writer in the film too. So that was kind of like a great couple's connection. But as she's talking her business in the area, the living room, the dining room area also, he's like, can you take that to the other room? And he's saying it with a tone of annoyance. So you could tell that marriage is already on rocky waters. And as they get down to the explanation of even getting to that point to explaining why it's on rocky waters, nothing much to explain. Just acknowledgement that the marriage is not as strong as it was before. And then Blake receives a letter giving him some tragic news. And then boom. Now the re-spark and motive to make a trip help out this family connection and make the marriage work again is, let me take you to my hometown, see where I'm from, see the picturesque views of our landscape and the farmhouse, and help me get the things that I need to get. That's it. No explanation. And y'all remember hearing on one of the Rotten Tomato top critic reviews, the lady was stating on how the rules of the werewolf was very dismissive. Like, you didn't know the actual rules to how to even kill this werewolf besides just going off of natural instincts to do exactly what you feel like you need to do best to survive and, you know, come off on a win. But they portrayed the werewolf transition from human to anybody that caught, I guess, either a gash in the hand from a claw or bitten and then made it out on the back end. They called it a disease. They called it a virus. They didn't give a name of a virus like the Umbrella Corporation from Resident Evil. But like, they called it a virus, you guys, and a disease. So big stuff unfolded whenever they were lost and on their way to the farmhouse. Rental truck crashed and Blake got gashed in the hand by a figure that he saw on the street that was coming for them. Big stuff was starting to unfold within the middle of the movie, but then it was kind of like you flipping on the light switch on and off. It was very spaced out from the suspense to the normalization of pace until the last 45 minutes. And I am being totally honest with you guys. Before it got to the last 45 minutes of the movie, I was going to fall asleep. Yes, given the fact that it was late, and still, no, the movie was dragging that much that I almost fell asleep until big stuff started to happen in the last 45 minutes of the movie. And then boom, now I'm up. I'm in tune now. But it was such a lackluster though, because you know the statistics of werewolf movies from my examples of Cursed and American Werewolf in London, The Howling. There's a lot of people, there's a lot of havoc, there's a lot of catastrophe being taken place. This movie didn't have it. It really wanted to be like it's enclosed, closeted characters that you could really just follow around, bond with, and not give, you know, extraness on the side, aside from probably one or two off-putting characters. But I was looking for that, and I didn't get it from this film. This definitely was a total lackluster of something that I very much enjoy from werewolf movies, you guys. And yeah, knowing how good everybody was saying The Invincible Man was, Leigh Wayno kind of lost me with this movie. But I'm gonna go still check that movie out, and I guess, boosting up some more expectations if he managed to even do something like this again. But all films are subjectical. If you liked it, then I'm jealous. I wish I was in your shoes, because I wish I would have enjoyed it just as much as you did if you're out there. Now, ending the bad, let's dive over to the last segment, which I'm calling if this movie has any type of rewatchability value for your boy, because that's what I like to do. If I love the movie that much, or if I enjoyed it that much and I can see myself coming back for it, it will be added to my digital collection, which I am a big cinema buff. I love to collect a lot of films digitally, that it is, because y'all know physical media is dying. But I would give it a thumbs up, thumbs down. But this movie, Wolfman 2025, my first time back in the theaters this year, you guys. That's crazy to say. This movie deserves a thumbs down.
You lose! Good day, sir!
This movie deserves a thumbs down because it does not have any rewatchability value to me. I don't see myself entertaining this film ever again. Even if there's somebody within my entourage or party or family that hasn't seen the film and is intrigued in watching it, I'm going to opt out because I'm not about to put myself through this again. But yeah, you guys. So there you have it. Thank you for joining me on this trip of me rambling, just talking about my experience with this film and the theater experience, the good, the bad, and as well as sharing with you guys what we all have access to, the Rotten Tomatoes scores, as well as the top critic reviews. If you liked anything that you heard here on my video today, please like, comment, and subscribe to your boy for more content coming soon. And yeah, man, join the Coop Troop. We cool over here, like cool beans. We nice cinema buffs, and I'm trying to do my best to stay more consistent in this thing, because this is something that I'm very much passionate about to just do as a hobby, little thing. But yeah, so y'all know what it is. This is your man, your host, your maestro of this great channel of ours, DeAndre Cooper, coming at you with what? DraeRadio Cinema News and Movie Reviews. Thank you for joining me again, you guys, and catch y'all on the flip side. Woo!